This is The Brigand Children, Book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. Part 7, Chapters 31 to 35. For previous chapters or to start from the beginning, navigate to the playlist titled The Brigand Children on this channel, or by clicking the card on the right. Author's note: I had to adjust some content in one of Sophie's chapters to comply with the rules here. If you would like to listen to the original steamy shower scene between Sophie and Damien, follow the link in the description, and you will be able to listen to the full unabridged chapter. Don't forget to adjust the speed of this video to match your comfortable listening preference. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to help me produce more free audiobook stories for you. Happy listening.
Chapter 31. When someone knocks on the door to my bedroom and walks in, I turn to my side, snatching the blanket from Sophie. It's Matthias. She can deal with him this morning. The movement elicits a forgotten pain inside me, like tens of tiny shivs stabbing me at once. I groan but keep my eyes closed, willing my half-sleep to give me a couple more minutes of leftover comfort. Sophie shifts next to me, trying to get back the blanket I stole. Her cold feet find their way under my thighs. A shiver goes up and down my body. I nestle closer in the warm blanket. I know she's on her phone scrolling so she can be without covers if she's already awake.
I need to take Damien to the hospital,
Matthias says.
Did he sleep okay? I hope you didn't make him engage in anything physically demanding.
One can wish. We came back after we finished our tea and he fell asleep soon after. Come check he's not died in his sleep.
Sophie's voice betrays a good mood and a good night's rest. Both are things which I should possess, but, courtesy to being beaten at the docks, don't. After I relent and finally get up, we get dressed, check on Yera, who is still sleeping with Tanya at her side, and on Curtis, who is bundled in blankets in one of the private rooms. Matthias throws him some fresh clothes and tells him to get dressed and hurry up. Curtis's phone remains with Tanya. He's bleary-eyed and obviously in pain. Bev and Lizzie are nowhere to be seen.
Do you want me to come with?
Sophie asks me before we all set off. I remember our conversation about her feelings toward hospitals and shake my head. You rest up, check on Hanako and the kids. Matthias and I will be fine. She nods, her shoulders relaxing. During our drive, Curtis fidgets on the back seat. After 5 minutes of silence and him unable to sit still, I turn, ignoring the sharp pain in my neck that makes my eyes water. What is going on with you? My voice is sharper than I intend.
Can I borrow your phone? I need to let my father know I'm okay. He's probably worried sick.
Matthias and I share a frown. So you can call Penelope and tell her where we are?
What? No, I really need to speak to him.
He goes quiet for a moment.
I said some really mean things to him a while back, and I can't bear it anymore. He was right, and I should apologize.
I can't say I know the feeling because my father doesn't elicit such a reaction within me. Even though I betrayed him, I don't want to apologize. There's anger within me because Penelope manipulated us both, but also peace, knowing that he's not going to stand in my way in the future. And what if it's some secret code between you and whoever you call? There's no way to tell if you're lying to us right now. I keep poking it, not because I don't believe Curtis, but for the twisted pleasure it gives me to watch him squirm. If he loved his father that much, he wouldn't have offended him in the first place.
Please, man, I'm already terrified as it is.
He shakes his hands like he's a child. His eyes look red and angry, and I wonder if he's delirious from the pain of his wounds or an infection.
You call him then. I don't want to speak to him. Just tell him I'm okay and safe.
I never said you were safe. Why am I being so cruel? Matthias glances in my direction, his gaze now disapproving. I pull out my phone. Fine. Tell me the number. Curtis exhales with relief, his breath hitting my face, warm and unpleasant. I ring and wait for someone to pick up. No one does. The call goes to voicemail.
We will try again later,
Matthias says as we park the car. Curtis bites his lips and keeps quiet, following us out like a wet dog. Matthias sneaks us into the hospital he used to work in. His former colleagues, some loyal, some feeling guilty after so many years, look after me and Curtis for the next couple of hours. In the end, my diagnosis is not morbid, just a concussion and a couple of bruised ribs. Nothing broken, nothing bleeding. I'm relieved, but not surprised. One thing I've never doubted is my ability to take a beating. Curtis's hands are bandaged again, after he had quick surgery to stretch the skin around his missing fingers and close off the wounds properly. Under the sound of his never-ending pleas, I call the number of his father again, to no avail. When we go back to the car, Matthias dispenses some hospital-grade painkillers with a sigh.
Don't take them too fast because I'm not giving you any more. You should start to feel better within a week or two. Don't forget to tell me if you faint or have trouble seeing.
With my pain at bay, I decide this is the perfect time to ask Curtis a few questions. Matthias takes us to a quiet Italian restaurant, and we take a secluded table in one corner, away from the staff and other customers. There are no security cameras inside. I flip the menu, every picture making my mouth water. Curtis seems as enthralled by the prospect of food as I am. Once we've ordered, I lean forward and ask the most important question. Where's the jester's main hideout? He doesn't hesitate when he replies, confirming the address my father's spy gave us. So Sophie's friend wasn't lying about it. Or maybe they want to trap us there, in the heart of their operation. I ask him about Penelope and the new guy, about how many people she has under her control, about what her plans are. I ask about the women and what was done to them. By the time our food comes, I'm too queasy to eat. I will have to relay all this to Sophie later, prepare her for what we might find when we go to case out the location. For the first time in many years, I consider reaching out to the police for help. Curtis doesn't seem bothered by the morbid discussion we've had. He has finished a slice of his pizza before I have managed to pick up my cutlery and dig into my pasta. After our meal, Curtis's eyes dart from side to side. Is he going to run? Don't even think about it, I say as we pay and get up to leave. You're coming back with us to Lavender. I don't trust you enough to let you go. Curtis nods, then grabs my sleeve.
Can you call my dad again? I'm getting really worried. What if Penelope has him? What if he's in danger?
I shrug him off, then dial the number. For some reason, his concern annoys me. His father is an adult. He can look after himself. What is all this worrying for? I tusk after I hear the voicemail lady again. He doesn't want to talk to you, I snap.
No, he always picks up. Something is wrong,
He mumbles.
You're going to the compound, right? Take me with you. Maybe my dad is there too. I need to find him.
You're only going to slow us down, I growl and push him into the car. When we're all inside, Matthias is giving me a nasty look again.
If and when someone goes into Penelope's hideout, they'll keep a lookout for your father. They'll let him know you're okay if that's appropriate or help him make his way out of there.
Matthias says in a calm voice, looking straight into my eyes. I know I'm being unreasonable, but I can't help it. This pathetic man and his father are the last thing I want to worry about. But I don't voice my disapproval. I don't want to show Curtis I'm disagreeing with one of my people. My phone buzzes, saving us all from continuing this conversation. It's a message from Carl that they're waiting for us at Lavender. When we get there, Sophie's gone. Matthias goes with Curtis to the Versailles room, where he spent the night. I hope he didn't bleed on the expensive golden couch inside. Yera is awake upstairs, looking much better than before. Tanya has given her a beanie to cover her mangled hair. Her fingers are bandaged. It's easy to tell she's been through a lot, but there's a calm quality to her breathing. Aisha is explaining the details of what will happen next in a gentle, low voice. Carl acknowledges my arrival with a nod. Seeing him here in my space is surprisingly reassuring. After he helped Kiara and cleared my name, my trust in him has grown. As he whisks Yera to what I hope will be a better life, I think about our recon mission to Penelope's lair again. Before I can change my mind, I pull him to one side and ask for assistance. Chapter 32. 3 days after Yera is gone and things have more or less calmed down, Sophie and I drive to the address of Penelope's compound. The dark conceals our presence perfectly. Sophie is in what I have started to call full wraith gear. Black jeans, dark leather jacket, a baseball cap, and her hair tied in a tight bun peeking from the hole at the back. She's wearing the new silver bracelets, wide and hiding the tools of her trade. Her black backpack looks heavy on her shoulders, but she moves confidently, excitement in her every step. I look pretty much the same, though I move with less grace. My injuries are still healing, and while painkillers mean I can pretend to be combat ready, I'm not really. I've instructed Sophie time and time again that this mission is recon only, and that we should avoid fighting no matter what. Just in case, I took Tanya's gun with me. This way she's safe, and if things come to it, we'll have a better chance of making it out of here alive. Outside, Carl has stationed 4 officers he trusts in an unmarked car. Parked in front of them is Matthias in his Prius, ready to take us away from here in a moment if needed. There's a wired fence in front of us now, saying private. No entry. After checking for cameras, Sophie ignores it in style as she takes out a pair of bolt cutters and makes a hole she can pass through. On the other side, she looks at me, then the hole.
Sorry,
She whispers and cuts out a bigger piece of the fence, as if we have all the time in the world. I don't know why I'm so annoyed. I trust Sophie and myself. I can't wait for Penelope to stop controlling my life. And yet this feels so much like an ending. Like a final chapter I'm not ready to read. We sneak around outbuildings, the place eerily quiet. Where are the jesters? There's nothing to see here, so we push farther in, the stillness covering our senses, putting us both on edge. The sounds of night Chicago fade into a barely audible hum. We don't talk. Sophie told me talking is the #1 reason someone would get caught after irrational, jerky movements. So I try to move like liquid while feeling stiff like an old tree. Sophie gestures for me to take one side of a building while she checks out the other. We split up, then meet in front of a door on the other side. I see confusion in her eyes, which is probably mirrored in mine. Curtis told us Penelope had between 30 and 40 people in this compound. Let's say everyone that Ben blew up left. That still leaves a lot more than the 0 we've encountered. I point at the door, and Sophie nods. Pressing on the handle, I cringe when it whines like a scared pig. The silence amplifies the sound 100-fold, and I panic, moving my free hand to my pocket, to the heavy gun inside. Sophie shakes her head and breathes in and out, urging me to calm down. I pull on the handle, my sweaty hand still keeping it depressed, afraid it will make another noise. The door doesn't budge. Sophie's hand, cool and pale, covers my own. Her grip replaces mine, and I lean on the wall, waiting for her to do her thing. When she releases the handle to take her lockpicks out, I watch, mesmerized. I've never seen the Brigand Wraith in action up close before. I know she's good, but as she works on the pins, I admire her patience. I never had it myself. Never learned to do something that required me to stand still in the middle of enemy territory. Breaking the lock with a kick would have been my approach. The compound is so quiet I can hear the pins of the lock move under Sophie's deft fingers. Then she presses the handle, and the door whines again, opening this time. She rolls her eyes and remains in her place, lifting her open palm to urge me to do the same. There's no sound coming from inside, no talking or shuffling of feet, not as much as a breath or a sniffle. I go in first and find myself in a light corridor, doors on each of my sides. So many doors. Sophie presses her body to mine, her hand snaking in my pocket. She pulls out the gun and pushes it in my hand. I nod and we start opening the doors one by one, finding rooms decorated for living but no people. It's like everyone just up and left. My frown deepens when we're at the last door, a place that is obviously an office. It's unlocked. Sophie goes to check the desk, and I open my mouth to tell her to be careful, though I don't know what is making the hairs at the nape of my neck stand up. She presses her index finger to her lips, shutting me up. I join her, but we find nothing. Then Sophie bends down and picks up a small, glossy piece of paper. She shows it to me, her eyebrows raised. You're invited. Flower rope party at the Moon Garden. Penelope's not here. No one is here because they're all at the Moon Garden. That doesn't mean she hasn't left bugs around, so I keep my deductions to myself. When Sophie pockets the flyer and leaves the room, I know she's reached the same conclusion. We continue through a courtyard, abandoned like everywhere else, and then reach the last few outbuildings. We're still stealthy, but it's pointless. Even if there is someone here, we would be able to take them on. Just as I'm about to stop sneaking and just embrace my normal gait, I hear something from one of the buildings. Sophie hears it too because she instantly drops behind a massive planter. I press my back against a wall. The noise is muffled, but the more I listen to it, the more it sounds like whimpering. There's no way for whoever's inside to have heard us approaching. Can it be Penelope, crying over her lost people? Sophie comes out of her hiding spot and stands next to me, her body deliciously close and warm. She knocks on the door, her fingers a feather's touch over its metal surface. The sounds from inside stop. The seconds drag. I'm itching to kick the door in, but I stay pressed to my girl. This is her mission, her field of expertise. I'm just muscle if things go wrong. She knocks again, louder this time. The whimpering, it definitely is whimpering, starts again, urgent and desperate. It doesn't sound like Penelope. Sophie drops to one knee and works the lock, just in case I bring my gun up, ready to threaten and defend. But there is no one to subdue inside, only an old man in the corner. He's dirty and sweaty. There are a few empty water bottles next to him and ripped sandwich packagings.
Jerry Jericho.
Sophie croaks, surprise etched on her face. Fuck, this is Curtis's father. My eyes slide to the corner that he's been using as a toilet. Disgust rises in my gut, unwelcome and unexpected.
Miss Taylor.
Spit comes flying out of his mouth as he scrambles toward her, enveloping his arms around her legs. He's as pathetic as his son. But Sophie doesn't push him away like I did Curtis. She leans down and takes his arms, helping him to get up. She doesn't as much as wrinkle her nose when he grabs her into a hug.
I'm so sorry,
he chants.
I told her about you, but I didn't have a choice.
Come with us,
she says without letting him go. She steers him toward the courtyard, out in the open air.
Where is everyone?
They left,
Jerry says.
Most of the jesters abandoned Penelope. Only that monster Alan is left and a few more. They've gone to the Moon Garden to find you, and someone else.
Why are they looking for me?
I told her you wanted to get Mateo's building from her. I'm so sorry.
He grabs her hand and I make a step forward to remove his touch from Sophie's small wrist. She doesn't flinch, but instead pats his fingers with her other hand.
I know you did it for your family. I don't blame you. We have your son.
You do? Curtis is well? She injured him. Is he all right now?
He will live. I draw the last word in between my teeth, that unknown anger simmering on the surface of my being. Now you're going to say you want to meet him, right? You both love each other so much. Sophie looks at me puzzled. She doesn't judge me openly like Matthias does, but I can see my words are unexpected.
Are you torturing him too?
Jerry's eyes are full of tears, and it sickens me to see him like this. Can't he get a grip? I told him his son is safe.
No.
Sophie's melodic answer is in contrast with my previous rough tone. I must sound like a villain.
We will take you to him, but before that, allow us to search you for bugs.
He nods and starts throwing off his soiled clothes one by one until he's standing in front of us in his underwear.
Can I see him now?
His voice is hopeful and unfazed, as if demeaning himself in front of us is nothing. We take him out of the compound. Matthias jumps out from the car and brings a blanket, covering Jerry's old, wrinkled body without questioning us about his appearance. Why is everyone so fucking helpful? Before I can get into the car, Sophie pulls me to one side.
What is it with you today?
She whispers, and I can hear the exasperation in her vowels. I don't know. Curtis and Jerry's over-the-top affection for each other annoys me, I guess. I scratch the back of my head.
But they're family. Of course they will be worried sick for each other.
Doesn't it strike you as too much, though? She narrows her eyes as she looks into the distance.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I get the feeling you are transposing your relationship with your dad on the Jerichos.
If I am, I'm not doing it on purpose. My voice is defensive.
Of course not. Just think about how you felt when Thomas was held at gunpoint. You were so worried.
She puts her hands on my neck and moves my head so I'm looking into her eyes, dark and sparkling in the night. I want to kiss her and stop this conversation. He's a child. I need to look after him. I pull her closer to me.
And you think this feeling will magically turn off when he's 18?
She caresses my cheeks with her thumbs. Her consistent touch calms me down. What she's saying is simple, logical. Maybe my visceral reaction to Curtis and Jericho was disproportionate. Maybe I'm jealous that there's an old man who cares for his stupid son. I can't process why he still wants anything to do with him after Penelope has ruined their lives. Why she didn't break them further apart like me and my father, but somehow brought them closer together. I will think about this. You know a lot more about family than I do, I say.
I will teach you.
Her breath tickles my lips and I part them, ready to taste her.
Family is so much more than blood, and there is more than enough love to go around for everyone. Sophie, the Brigand Wraith. As I look at the trees that we pass, a tension starts in my chest. Like a ball of snakes, it slithers down to my stomach, making me queasy. The chat with Damien from minutes ago has branded something in my mind. Doubt. Uncertainty. I've always valued the idea of family after losing mine. I thrived under Chief and next to Tony. Then I lost them too. Only Melanie is left now, out of the people from that time, still my sunshine in a gray world. But Damien's knee-jerk reaction to a family reuniting reminds me that not everyone thinks like me. I bury my gaze in the distance as I remember Tony. Back then, he was similar to Damien. He was slowly learning what it means to be part of a family and to care for other people. His relationship with his parents was one built on abuse and shattered childhood dreams. Back then, I thought my own parents were a barrier to the life I wanted to live. I mistook care and love for being controlling, exasperation for anger, and refusal to fund my volatile teenage wishes for neglect. In hindsight, I was lucky to be normal. Now I've learned to live with my abnormalities. I embrace them as part of my identity and try my hardest to give Melanie opportunities to be normal in her own way. But ever since I held my lockpicks in my hands after so many years, a little voice sings in my head again and again. What if you could go back to that life? Chief will take you now that you're an adult. Tony made it. You can make it too. I ignore it most days. Today I let myself sit with this feeling of inner disquiet. My brain supplies a long-forgotten memory, and my eyes unfocus as I get lost in it. The only time I almost got caught in L.A. The Brigand Wraith is running. I'm running, my legs carrying me like the wind. I vault over a fence and don't turn around to see if the mane of blonde curls still bobs behind me. A raindrop crashes on my cheek, then another one and another one. Wraith, help! Tony's voice is far behind me. I turn to see my friend being crushed in the arms of a nameless man, an enemy. There's a pause of confusion. I've always run. Fighting is not an option. Small and weak, what can I do? Tony screams again before being headlocked roughly. I choose to fight for the first time. I pick up a stone from the ground and run toward the struggling pair. When I swing my arm and the blow connects, the jagged edge of the stone cuts my palm. The man releases Tony, a rivulet of blood flowing in his eye and down his cheek like a demon tear. I start to run again, sure that Tony will follow. I halt a few breaths later, realizing I'm alone. Rough grunting behind me captures my attention. Tony has somehow gotten the man to the ground and is slamming the stone down on his head hard, again and again. I'm nailed in place by the brutality of the scene. I'm shaking, unable to speak. I'm only 15. A child watching another child gone berserk. When it's finally over, Tony gets up and breaks into a run.
He won't follow us now,
Tony says, blood spatter in golden curls. Not berserk at all. Deadly calm.
Sophie?
Damien's voice makes the memory dissipate. Sorry, I wasn't listening. I lean forward between the seats.
I was just saying that we should dress up again.
Matthias says. What? I'm still only half there, my heart thundering in my chest.
The flower rope party.
Damien replies.
It seems we need to go there to wrap up this jesters thing.
I nod. We're going to the moon garden again, where I will most certainly meet Tony. Tony, an adult and a man. Someone who can probably take my hand and lead me back to that old life of danger and adrenaline. Or I can stay with Damien, who wants to embrace his only chance at peace and family. We pass familiar buildings on the way back to Lavender. Offices, cafes, and shops I know and love. Chicago's streets have the warm familiarity of a life well organized. It represents my efforts to fit in and my success at it. But when I think back to the orange sunsets of Los Angeles, the hot weather and the smell of the sea, they ignite a painful feeling of homesickness in my chest. When I think about both cities, possibilities expand in my mind's eye, and I'm overwhelmed by how either of the paths leads to something different but still exciting. The flower rope party is only 4 days away. That's 4 days before my worlds collide and I have to make a choice.
Chapter 33. When we stop in front of Lavender, Jerry Jericho scrambles out of the car like his life depends on it. I try to remember if my own father had ever scrambled to do anything when it came to me. My memory search returns nothing, and the feeling of unfairness prickles my skin again. Then I remember Sophie's words. Just think about how you feel about Thomas. The tide of negative emotion subsides, and I can look at Jerry again. I can almost understand his pain. Matthias, Sophie, Jerry, and I go inside. Curtis is having a late dinner in the lounge. When he sees us, he drops his fork and jumps to his feet. I take a step back to avoid him as he leaps into the arms of his father, and they hold each other, muttering things and crying, like they've been separated for years.
Relax,
Sophie whispers next to me.
They're just glad to be alive and together.
She's smiling, and as I peer into her face, I feel the strain in mine. I make a conscious effort to kill my frown. After the Jerichos break apart, Curtis wipes his nose with his sleeve and looks at me.
Thank you,
He says with such reverence in his voice that I'm stunned.
Thank you so much. I know we were on opposite sides, but thank you for saving me and my father.
I will never be able to thank you enough for looking after my son and for bringing me to him.
Jerry says.
I have nothing to give you, but if you're ever in legal trouble, I'll be there to bail you out. And if I can't help you, I will find someone who can.
Matthias pats me on the back as he passes us.
Smart move, getting lawyers on our side.
The frown returns. Is this why I did it? Why I kept Curtis close, even after he had told us all he knew? Why I so easily agreed to take his father back to my private space? I will be sure to make use of your services, I say to the two men because their expectant eyes, so full of gratitude, are making me uncomfortable. They relax and shuffle away, sharing their stories with each other, their shoulders touching. I would have never walked that close to my father. Nothing good will come from me peering at them, so I pat Sophie's head on my way to one of the private rooms. She follows me like a cute puppy, and I forget all about my annoyance with the Jerichos. We don't have much time to put things in place, so I get straight to the point. I assume everyone wants to go to the moon garden.
Hannah will want to come too,
Sophie says. It will be too dangerous. I know it's a weak argument because it applies to everyone, not just Hannah. But I will want Matthias and Tanya there, and Sophie too. None of them can really fight, but this showdown means too much for them to sit out. Who will watch the children?
That's not fair,
Sophie says.
She's not our communal housewife. It's the moon garden. If something is going to happen to it, Hanako has the right to decide whether she wants to be there or not. It's a place that many kinky people love because they found their comfort and happiness there. We need to find a trusted babysitter.
Fine. We'll use her eyes and ears and knowledge of the place. I sigh. An acute need for a hug occupies my brain out of nowhere, and I pull Sophie toward me. She welcomes my touch and nestles in my chest, soft and warm.
You did so well today. And you showed me how Damien Grey got all his allies to his side. It's pretty inspiring, watching you save people. You're good at it.
Déjà vu. Tanya said the same thing in the motel a few weeks ago. Why did I save Curtis and Jericho? When I helped Luna, it was because I couldn't stand to look at a child being abused by the very man who had to protect them. Luna's father. When I got Tanya out of the cult that she was trying to escape, she asked me to kill their leader. A man who had committed too many crimes to count in the name of a made-up religion. Her grandfather. And when Matthias was suspended for doing what's best for Thomas, I knew it was wrong that he was hurt by my father. What is it with me and father figures? Did Matteo's absence in my formative years break me so bad that even to this day, I can't look at familial love without feeling that it's fake? Maybe. I don't know why I saved the Jerichos. My internal monologue finds a way out of my mouth. I don't even like them. Sophie breaks the tight hug to look into my eyes.
Maybe because they represent something that you thought was impossible?
I press my lips to her forehead. She's right. I did gain new allies. And even if I can't understand my own reasoning, the outcome suits me. As thoughts whir in my brain, an idea forms. I need to call my father. I pull away from her slowly. Sophie's eyes narrow.
I don't know if you will be able to find the same level of love from him as...
Oh, no. I interrupt her with a shake of my head. It's about the Moon Garden plan. Her face changes to understanding. As I dial the prison, I wonder if anyone will pick up this late. The line connects, and I request him. Just as I'm about to speak to him, Matthias calls Sophie to the lounge and she slips out, leaving me alone with my father. This suits me, because when I hear his voice, my own words falter. I stay silent for a moment, grieving a relationship that never was and never will be.
Nice of you to call.
Matteo Gray's voice startles me. I only have one question. I return my attention to the matter at hand. Can I trust Carl Mickelson? I understand you used to have an agreement with him. There's a long hum carrying over the phone.
You can trust him to a point. If you want him to bury a body for you, he won't do it. He won't partake in any overt illegal activity.
Can I tell him about the Moon Garden, your man, and the imminent confrontation? Trust him to not show up with a fleet of police cars on the night we want to face Penelope?
Police presence might not be the worst idea. You don't have many people, and I don't know how many she has. Not as many as I used to have, but probably more than you.
I roll my eyes. He's as skeptical about me as ever. I will think about it. And would you trust Carl with your grandson's life? My father doesn't hesitate.
He would never hurt a child. Remember, he's a policeman first, my ally second.
And that confirmation is all I need for my idea to consolidate in a concrete plan. I call Carl next, then go to seek out Sophie. When I see Curtis and Jerry still in the lounge, sipping on my alcohol, in my tumblers, I am surprised that I no longer find them disgusting. They look like weary travelers on their way home. My own words echo in my ears. I want Lavender to be a safe space. I allow myself a small smile as I go down to the sub-basement. I find Sophie on my bed, playing with rope like a kitten tangled in yarn.
I think best when I'm tied up,
She says, but thinking time is clearly over because she's untying herself as I join her on the bed. I sorted the issue with the babysitter, I say. Carl will look after them. His grandkids are coming for the weekend, so they're going to have one happy sleepover.
Really? He agreed to watch some random teenagers?
Not random. Looking after them might well get him the case of his career right before retirement.
That's nice of him. I'm surprised he won't be there with us. I always thought the police like to stick their fingers in any criminal pie they can find.
Well, you'll be glad to know that Aisha will be with us as extra backup.
Fair enough. Though I would rather she didn't see my face. I'm weird around police people.
Now that you mention it, you were always doing something else when they were around.
I don't want to put myself in situations that might allude to my past in LA.
When she says this, her voice is quiet, and I wonder how often she thinks of this past. In the flurry of other issues my brain has been occupied with, I haven't even considered the fact that she's about to meet one of her old colleagues. Will he pull her away from me? Will he betray us, shattering her pretty memory? I hope any horrible scenario that my anxious mind supplies won't happen. In the end, it will be her decision. All I can do is hope and do my best. I'll grab a shower. Don't feel clean after running around Penelope's property. Wanna come? The thought of Sophie's naked, wet body pressed to mine ignites my imagination.
I'll join you.
She winks, though some of the strain remains in her features. I should do something about that. Wrapped in towels, we go to the shower of the sub-basement. I turn it on while Sophie shifts from one foot to the other. I'm cold too. We wait, but no water comes out. I give it another try, jerking the taps with more vigor as if that will help. It seems it has finally given up on me. We should go to the staff showers upstairs. I take her hand and we shuffle up, half naked and shivering.
Sophie the Brigand Wraith. Damien doesn't know where he's taking me. He doesn't know this is yet another place where I will be forced to face my soul injuries. I walk through the locker room, following him quietly like I followed Brad the night of the Jester's party. My heart picks up pace. My blood drums in my ears. But I force a deep breath in, then out. The situation is different. This is just a room. Brad is in prison, and Valerie is missing. Penelope is not here. There's nothing that can hurt me. My eyes slide across the interior of the showers without lingering, afraid that the way the tiles are arranged or the shape of the partitions between the 4 shower heads will conjure up an unwanted memory. I step in one of the sections that I've never stood in, not when I showered alone when working, not when I observed Tanya showering, not when Brad blasted me with cold water. I hope Damien doesn't follow me in because I need space to process. I smile at him, not finding words but trying to tell him everything with my eyes. He takes the section next to me. It is only after I turn the hot water on that I start to feel calmer. Damien puts his head under the shower head, moaning in pleasure as the water turns from cold to hot and washes over him. I look at my hands, clenched into fists, and release the strain on my fingers, feeling the water stream between them. The panic subsides, leaving the room full of steam and an undressed Damien. In this moment, the Brigand Wraith is buried so deeply inside my subconscious that it's as if she's never existed. Gone is the sassy thief, the confident brigand who rushes headlong into danger. Under the hot stream of the shower, only Sophie Taylor remains, with my naked trauma and my aching heart. A few weeks ago, it was here that I had prepared to go out into a crowd of jesters to be a toy for their entertainment. I glance at Damien, who has slathered some body wash on his palms and is now staring at them intently, matching my introspectiveness. The former Lavender Phantom, Lavender's owner and Lavender's first victim. His own trauma must be heaped like a mountain of unpleasant memories. Mine is probably nothing compared to his. And yet, when I peel my gaze from his body and my eyes settle on the other end of the shower room, I remember Brad glaring at me, then walking over with the hose like it was a gun. I shiver despite the scalding water. That night was my lowest point, my rock bottom. Since then, things have gotten better. I've been safe. Or at least I feel that way. And that realization feeds my courage. I want to try something. I turn off the shower, steam curling around me in mesmerizing swirls. I lean my forearms on the partition that separates me and Damien, and let my stare settle on Damien's jaw, covered by his beard, on his high cheekbone, on his petite ear, on the spot where his neck begins under it. His flushed skin glistens from the moisture. Droplets of water run down my body, cooled from the air around me. I imagine the little tickling trails they leave are instead made by Damien's competent fingers. Just as I'm admiring his flexed biceps, Damien snaps out of his daydream and turns to me, his dark hair sticking to his face like he is a sultry merman.
Already done?
He puts his hands to his pecs and starts washing his body. Not yet. I walk over to his shower cubicle. Goosebumps cover my arms and legs as I move through the cool air.
I like where this is going.
he says when I reach him and press my body to his. I embrace his slippery torso, enjoying the warmth of him on my skin. He hugs my back, covering me entirely in hot water and the scent of body wash and Damien. The seed of courage I planted a few minutes ago grows, turning into full-fledged bravery. I slip my hands down his back, feeling the ridges of his scars, enjoying the soft moans that escape him. A possessive smile blossoms on my lips. I hide it from Damien, still nestled in his chest. When my fingers find themselves tracing swirls on his sides and then going down to the region of his desire, Damien stirs, propping my chin up with one finger. I meet his half-lidded eyes, full of longing. We kiss, water running down our faces, turning the taste of our kiss into something new and clean. I stroke him, slowly, teasingly, as his tongue explores my mouth. Heat unrelated to the shower gathers between my legs. I squeeze them, reaching for the shot of bravery I prepared inside myself. Breaking the kiss, I lower myself slowly, keeping my eyes trained on Damien's. A shadow of confusion passes across them. He starts lowering himself as well. A chuckle escapes my lips despite me trying to both look sexy and keep my trauma at bay. This small consideration makes my feeling of safety explode inside my heart like a firework of appreciation. You stay standing, I say, a small smile playing on my lips. The slight change of mood makes me waver, but I push through the doubt. I need this.
Are you sure?
Damien's face hasn't picked up on the humor. His brows are knitted in concern.
I'm not desperate for this if you don't want to do it. Just because other people do it like it's nothing doesn't mean you have to push yourself.
I know.
There's plenty of other stuff we can do.
I want to go down on you, Damien. I want to try. The seed of bravery inside me is as if a real thing, sending adrenaline through my body, making me tremble with anticipation and eagerness.
You're shaking.
I'm excited, I think.
I'm all yours.
Damien puts his arms behind his back, grasping his elbows with opposite hands. I know this position very well. Rope bottoms find their arms tied up behind their back like this often in Japanese bondage. He assumes the surrender implied in a box tie, the opening of the chest and the submission of the heart and soul. The bravery I have nurtured transforms into conviction. The tiles are hard under my knees, and the water reaching me is tepid as I assume position. I look at it, like I'm seeing one for the very first time. A little bead of liquid appears at the tip, and without thinking, I swipe my tongue across it. The taste of Damien reminds me of the seawater I tasted every time I went swimming in LA. He tastes like memories of a simpler time. Before I know it, I'm sucking, enjoying the velvety texture of his sensitive skin. A sharp intake of breath reminds me that Damien is still there with me, and before I get lost in my head, I look up, taking in a little bit more. I don't think about Duke Hazelton. Nothing in this situation reminds me of him. As I find a rhythm that makes Damien moan, I use my free hand to run my nails down his muscular thighs, to caress his abs, clenching every so often. His posture, his pleasure, yielding to my mouth, nurtures another layer of that comfortable safety. I want to give him more. Moments later, Damien's body tenses and he speaks, his voice a hoarse whisper.
I'm going to come.
His arms have come out, ready to pull me away if needed. But my desire to have all he can give propels my hands sideways, and I grip Damien's palms midair without stopping the movement of my head. He grunts, twining my fingers with his, keeping me balanced as he becomes one highly strung wire. With each of my backward shifts, I hollow my cheeks, high on the adrenaline of personal triumph. Damien stills. A single tick later, warm liquid spurts out of him. I swallow, my back and forth winding down, turning into soft, indulgent draws. My shaking has long since stopped, but now Damien trembles lightly, his thighs and hands quivering with my every move. When I finally release him from my mouth, he slides down to the floor next to me, his eyes searching for mine, his pupils dilated.
Wow.
He rasps.
What was that?
I smile. I was convinced today was the right time to face the demons inside my head, and they are still there. The war with them is far from over, but I won this battle today. I demolished my fear and embraced my desire. That was... I reach forward and pull his face to mine, planting a soft kiss on his parted lips. A step toward personal empowerment. Damien chuckles.
I have to say I like this empowered you. For a submissive, you sure know how to take charge.
For a dom, you sure know how to submit. The giddy feeling of achievement makes my skin hum with pleasure. I lean in for another kiss, then another, until we are a tangled mess on the wet, cold floor. The water drums around us, protecting us from the world outside, letting us feel nothing but each other for a moment not destined to last.
Chapter 34. The Night of the Flower Rope Party. The bruises on my body have faded to purple. The pain that used to make me lightheaded is now a distant memory, only reappearing when I overreach. A painkiller is coursing in my bloodstream anyway, making sure I won't flinch when the time comes to push my body to its limit again. My beard is no more, revealing in the mirror an almost forgotten face. The past week was both a week of healing and a week of mental preparation. For me, for Sophie, for Tanya, and Matthias. Luna were tasked with monitoring the security cameras on the streets where the Moon Garden's 2 entrances are. Inside, there are no cameras. After all this is over, I will rip out all the ones from Lavender too. Privacy is a right, not a business opportunity. For the full week, Luna were looking for Penelope or anyone else who could be identified as part of the jesters, but there was no one of note passing, so we knew that Penelope was either inside, never leaving the venue, or that she never did arrive. According to the blueprints and Sophie and Hanako's accounts, there are no other entrances to the club but the 2 main ones. The Moon Garden is both exactly how I remember it, and nothing at all like it. The colors tonight are reminiscent of lavenders, pastel tones and muted lighting with spotlights here and there highlighting various flower arrangements. I'm convinced it's all fake decor, but the big lounge smells like spring in bloom. While I wait for Sophie to change into her outfit, I put my nose in a bouquet of yellow roses. The sweet fragrance and velvety feel prove me wrong, not fake. Aisha is with Sophie and Hanako, protecting them from a possible encounter with Penelope in the changing rooms. The people around me move in lazy swathes, chatting, giggling, going about their kinky business undisturbed by the fact that a gang altercation is coming up. With such indulgent surroundings, I hope we can keep the conflict small and contained. I would hate to ruin so many people's favorite place to be. Matthias comes to me, holding a martini and hands me a stiff whiskey.
Only one,
He says. Connor is next to him, looking uncomfortable.
Nice to meet you without a mask on.
He mumbles. Likewise.
You look very familiar.
He says. I have a common face. My lips move into a smile that doesn't reach my eyes. He's probably seen the wanted screens in passing. I don't want to get into it today, or any day really. Both of them have put more effort in their costumes than I have. Matthias sparkles from every side, a sequined vest of purple and pink covering his otherwise naked torso. He is also wearing skinny jeans with embroidered butterflies, which for me are a massive step up from his open-ass latex outfit from last time. Connor is wearing a suit that would make him look smart if it wasn't made from a floral design material. In my eyes, he resembles a human-shaped couch. But I'm not allowed to poke fun at others' costumes. I'm wearing my black jeans and black hoodie, knives in my black combat boots, and knuckle dusters in my pockets. I didn't even bring my rope bag. If I allowed myself to relax last time I was here, enough to play, tonight I'm strung like a tight guitar string. If my father's man is somewhere around watching, we can't allow a moment's loss of vigilance. We could be pulled away from the party and into a fight at any time. The bouncer I saw last time, Dougie, is not here. Have they replaced him with someone from Penelope's gang? It would have been nice to have him here, looking after everyone who is not involved in our little family war. Maybe he's on another level. I should know better, but the opulent hanging flower arrangements from the ceiling, the grass on the dance floor speckled with wildflowers, the smell of witch hazel in the air, it's all a comforting promise of hope. Spring is coming. New beginnings are due. Leave the cold of your past behind. The music is quiet, mixed with birdsong, reminding me of the audio compilations I made for the tropical room for the opening of Lavender. I can't help but compare the two clubs, mine empty and this one buzzing with sexual excitement. Sophie comes into the lounge, snatching my attention. Hanako and Aisha are also striking in their costumes. The three of them look like wood nymphs, all flowers, flowy fabric, and iridescent glitter. It takes them a while to reach us, stopping every few seconds to talk to people they know. We agreed not to hide and let the jesters find us first. Sophie was adamant that she knows the moon garden better than Penelope, or anyone she might employ. Hana felt the same. I like her confidence, but caution remains in the strain on my face. I'm afraid I'll see a glint of a knife, or hear the poof of a small gun silencer.
This will not do,
Sophie says when they're within earshot.
You look like a bodyguard.
She swipes something from behind her back, making the fabric of her tiny see-through skirt ripple like insect wings. She places it on my head. My eyes linger on hers, a well of darkness thanks to her black sclera contacts. Her lashes are painted white, gems sparkle on her forehead. It's Sophie, but transformed into something otherworldly. I touch the ring on my head. It's a flower crown. I take it off to look at the weaved purple fabric flowers. They look like small lavender stalks. Ivy leaves and forget-me-nots nestle between them. Lavender is a summer flower. I put it back on my head.
Some bloom early in the spring. When I saw it online, I thought it was perfect for you. And I was right.
Sophie beams. Her outfit is small, like the dress of a ballerina. Pastel green and purple, matching my flower crown, allowing movement for fighting and running. I know she's not forgotten why we're here, but she's trying to celebrate in her own way.
Great. We're all assembled. Now what?
Aisha's face is the opposite of Sophie's. Her outfit, too. A dark blue leotard with sparkling gemstones and white sclera lenses. White roses are knitted in her tight black curls, free from her usual braided style when she's at work. She's crossed her arms in front of her chest. The small leather bag hanging on her shoulder tells me I'm not the only one who came armed tonight.
Now we walk around and wait, no?
Hanako catches them both by the shoulders. She's gone for a full red costume, tiny shorts, and a cropped top, giving everyone a full view of her pierced belly button. She's painted a poppy on her cheek. Poppies are also summer flowers, I say with a smile.
Watch out, flower expert here.
Matthias pats my back. I also write poetry. I wink at Aisha. Aisha scoffs, but Sophie bursts out laughing.
I'm a fan,
she says. Then her brows knit and she pulls out her phone.
Connor, can you grab me a soda?
Can't you get one yourself?
He says, the true meaning of the request lost on him. Hanako comes to the rescue.
I will go. Come with me. I won't be able to carry all the drinks.
When they go away, Sophie speaks again.
Tanya, Bev, and Lizzie are running late. I've arranged with the manager for them to be let in, but I'm not sure if they're reporting to Penelope. We should split up and stay in touch. Whoever encounters any sort of trouble should notify the others.
It's better to stick together,
Aisha says.
If we're lumped like this, we appear too strong. No one will approach us.
I scratch my chin. Every group needs at least one member who can fight. Matthias, do you have your special solution with you?
I do.
So the jeans are not just a fashion choice. I'm armed, Aisha is armed, and Matthias has a stock of tranquilizers. Good. Sophie, with me. Matthias, you go with Connor and Hanako. Aisha, you wait for Tanya and the girls. There's 3 floors, so each group should scout one. I glance at the bar. Connor and Hana are still queuing for drinks.
Lounge for us,
Matthias says.
It will be easiest to come up with an excuse for Connor.
I think we should take the upper floor,
Sophie says.
We are the smallest group, so we can navigate the private rooms more easily.
That leaves the dungeon for my group.
Aisha nods.
It's not bad. It's a big open space, so it should be easy to stake out.
Remember, Penelope knows what I and Sophie look like. She also knows Matthias and Tanya by face, but she might not remember them clearly. In any case, be careful. I look around the circle of faces. I see determination. If they are afraid, none of them show it. I hope we can gather like this at the end of the night, victorious. I hope we don't lose anyone. I hope Penelope and the jesters will be a thing of the past in a few hours. Matthias fishes in the back pocket of his jeans and hands out a small item to each of us.
Aisha, you take 2 and give this one to Tanya.
I look mine over. It's like a miniature pager with a tiny black and white screen and a colored button. Part of Luna's help tonight. There isn't one for Sophie.
When I press the button,
Matthias starts, pushing his finger down on the small circle. My item vibrates and the screen shows a bold M. He continues.
it will notify everyone who it is that is in trouble. Keep this close to your person and use it in case of an emergency. It's lucky all of us have different first letters.
As we fumble around with clothes and pockets to secure the alert devices, Hanako and Connor join us with fresh drinks for Sophie and Aisha. I notice Hana has a pair of wings on her back. Still not a fairy? I ask, pointing at them.
Nope, never a fairy. I'm a ladybug. And don't tell me they're summer insects, please.
She shakes her head. I wasn't going to. Anyway, we're heading up. See you guys around.
Matthias will fill you in.
Sophie blows her an air kiss. Aisha rolls her eyes and heads for the bar, probably to wait for Tanya at a place with a good vantage point. I expected her to look out of place, but she doesn't. Maybe the Moon Garden will have a new regular after tonight. If we do everything right, next Friday she will be free to visit without having to bring her gun with her. Sophie and I ascend the stairs in silence, hand in hand. The railings are decorated with climbing roses, the ceiling with wisteria, which makes our walk up like a visit to a dark park.
Let's start with the rooms on our right,
Sophie says. All doors have little windows where we can peer through and observe. In one room there's a trio wrestling, limbs flying in all directions. I'm unable to tell what belongs to whom. So this former colleague of yours, I say as we move along. Are you excited to see him? Sophie's grip tightens on my hand.
I haven't seen him in 7 years. I don't know what to expect.
There's a couple having sex in the next room we look at. It doesn't seem to affect Sophie in any way. She sighs and drags me forward. Have I hit a nerve? Were you close? I'm unable to drop the subject.
Like family,
She whispers. The way she says it is loaded. Was he your first love? I ask.
first proper crush maybe. But at the time,
She hesitates.
he was different. I still trust him to carry out this mission. Don't get me wrong. I'm just afraid I might have lost him forever by leaving the way I did.
The 2 private rooms we pass next have couples engaging in impact play. In one there are 2 girls, one across the other's knee, her bottom red. In the second room, there's a restrained man on the bed, his play partners flogging him vigorously. No sign of Penelope. No sign of Sophie recognizing her friend. Did you not get to say goodbye? Our walking pace has slowed so much we're barely moving. Maybe I shouldn't have started this conversation. But if not now, when?
I couldn't get in touch with him that night. I blamed him for abandoning me, but recently I don't know. The brain can warp things. Maybe it was me who abandoned them all.
The next few doors have their little window covered by a tiny lace curtain. Sophie tries each door gently, but they're locked. Whoever's inside each of them wants privacy. Following the event etiquette, we move on without disturbing them. Do you want to go back to LA? My heart twists as I ask the question. She's been acting subtly strange since she learned my father's spy was her acquaintance. I have avoided thinking about what defeating Penelope will mean for us until this moment. The last private room we visit is free. It's at the end of the corridor. The purple blooms above the doorframe look like the wisteria from before. When we get closer, I see they are lilac blossoms. Thick, like grapes. Made from plastic, but still somehow fully fragrant. Sophie takes my arm and drags me inside, closing the door behind us and flipping the lock. Her expression is anxious.
If we're talking about the future, I need to be in a space where I can focus on you.
I nod and look around. There's a 4-poster bed frame with lilac bunches suspended from the top and a wicker chair in one corner. The effect of a hanging garden is exquisite. In plant symbolism, lilac depicts first love. I try to lighten the mood.
How do you know?
Sophie chuckles nervously. Purple is a color that can be both happy and sad, so I was set on it as the main color for my club. But I was torn between 2 options for the name: lilac and lavender. Then I figured my clients will be unlikely to experience their first loves in my tea room, so I went for lavender.
That's a pretty story.
Her eyes won't meet mine, but I give her space to figure out what she wants to say. A fear that she's changed her mind from the last time gnaws at my bones, but I bite my tongue and wait.
I know I said this last time, but I don't know if I can return to the mundane life I had before Luna awakened the Brigand Wraith.
She sits on the bed.
But I also can't ask you to abandon your dream of a peaceful life with Thomas and renovating Lavender to match your vision.
I sit next to her. Her words are not unexpected. Maybe we can find a compromise. I don't want to let you go. It will be so painful to say goodbye if you want to leave with your brigand friend. But if my desired future doesn't excite you, or worse, if it stresses you, then I will let you go. Her eyes widen and her lips part. No words come out. Did you think I was going to keep you here? I pull her into a sideways hug and stroke her hair. I will never force anyone to live a life against their will. I've been through it, and it feels like shit. Her arms circle my waist.
I can promise you one thing.
I don't get to hear her promise because there's a knock on the door. I stand up, peering through the little window, but I'm far away and see only darkness. We share a look and stay deadly still. Yes, it could have been a stray couple looking for a free room, but we are in enemy territory, and a measly lock will not protect us. It could be Penelope. I strain to hear anything when the lock rattles with a metallic whiz. My heartbeat picks up pace. Sophie grips my palm, her fingers clutching with the strength of her unease. As my eyes settle on the handle, it moves. I watch it do its usual quarter circle, slow and lazy, and completely silent. It should be locked. It should be. But the door opens, making me jump uncharacteristically. Whoever is on the other side wants to go into this room, right now. I slip my hands into my pockets, feeling the comforting weight of the brass knuckles. Sophie stands up slowly, her eyes darting. I want to tell her to come behind me to hide, but while I consider my actions, the door opens and a voice speaks.
Ah, you're already rounded up. How convenient.
While I was hesitating, a boy has entered. A boy with a gun. He is pointing it at my chest, a sleek silencer making it look like the barrel of a rifle. Chapter 35.
Go sit down over there.
The boy's voice is throaty, like he has dropped his voice box deep into his neck. He flicks the gun to point in the general direction of the wicker chair next to the bed. I consider whether he will shoot me if I tackle him. I try to predict where the bullet will go if he shoots by accident while falling to the ground. This room is too small, too cramped. Sophie is too close to me.
Don't do it,
the boy says. He looks barely of age. Is he one of Penelope's followers?
Obey, and all of us will walk out of here safe and sound.
If he's my father's guy, he sure as hell doesn't look to be on our side.
Sophie,
the boy whispers, looking up and down my girl's body. His eyes are not leering but estimating, concentrating, like the eyes of someone comparing 2 pictures and searching for differences. An unexpected bead of sweat rolls down the side of my forehead. I've been straining in place, clenching every muscle in my body, unsure what to do. The boy seems in no hurry. His curly hair looks like an unkempt nest on top of his head, and his skin-tight black catsuit reveals a tiny but buff body. He looks like a very unlikely villain, so I start to wonder if this is some kind of play setup. Maybe he got the room wrong? But he knows Sophie's name. Why is he so hostile?
While I appreciate watching you think, I would much prefer it if you sat down as I told you to. It would spare me shooting you in the foot.
The boy's eyes snap up to mine. His expression grows cold. Sophie speaks then, her voice even, with an unknown emotion barely sustained.
Sit down, Damien. You might actually be shot if you don't.
You know him? I ask.
Yes.
She hesitates.
And Tony.
Antonio. Tony. I know you remember me, Wraith.
I sit down on the edge of the chair, palming the brass knuckles in my pockets. My eyes dart between Sophie and the boy like I'm the spectator of an invisible table tennis match. He's definitely someone from her past. But is he our spy? I wait for an opportune moment to strike back.
You're on Chief's side?
Always.
Despite the confirmation, Tony doesn't lower the gun. It's still trained on me.
I'm here to help one of his old contacts.
Oh, does he not know what I look like? He should be on our side, but it's hard to trust someone who is actively threatening my life.
So why do you have a gun to my boyfriend's head?
Boyfriend.
Tony raises an eyebrow. He is gentle in his pronunciation, like the word feels unusual on his tongue.
I'm undercover in one of Chicago's new gangs and earning the trust of the boss. Unfortunately, she told me to kidnap you.
Me?
A perplexed expression is etched on Sophie's face.
You.
Sophie Taylor, not Adrienne Raven?
Who's Adrienne Raven?
Tony cocks his head. I decide whatever Sophie is doing is a distraction, so I tense my thigh, ready to pounce on him the moment his eyes dip down to her face again.
I will fucking shoot you.
Tony's head snaps sideways, his gaze boring into mine. I raise my arms to the sides of my head in an effort to placate him. My brass knuckles remain in my pockets. You can't blame me for trying to protect my woman. I hesitate. Is this too cheesy? To protect Sophie, I add.
I won't cause her harm,
He says with sharp, fast certainty, like I offended him.
Tony, put the gun down. You're here to help him.
She slides off the bed without hurrying, but instead of attacking him, she goes and embraces him. I'm sure my face does something strange because Tony's expression changes and he chuckles.
If you promise me Mr. Alpha Male won't go all caveman on me, I will drop the gun and we can chat.
He slides his free hand to the small of her back and presses her into himself. My nostrils flare, and I feel a pinch in my chest. I've always thought I'm not a jealous man, but seeing my wood nymph for the night, hugging someone who is holding me at gunpoint, seems to be some sort of exception.
No one will fight right now,
Sophie says, her voice muffled by the nest of his yellow curls. He is only a little taller than her and couldn't be farther away visually from what I look like. Short, blonde, feminine, gentle-looking. She said they were family. But in what way? Were they lovers? Or play partners? I try not to make assumptions. Tony lowers the gun and puts the safety back on. I'm up and striding toward them before he has had a chance to stuff it anywhere. Looking over his catsuit, I'm unsure where he would have put it. He grabs Sophie with both arms and twirls her, moving toward the other end of the room.
He looks angry,
He says into her hair, and he's damn right. I don't like being threatened. I don't like other people talking about kidnapping the girl I like either. Give me that gun, I snarl. Sophie detaches herself from his embrace and turns to stand between us.
Stand down, Damien. Tony, put that gun away somewhere.
You trust him? I ask.
Penelope doesn't know my real name.
Her brows furrow, the cogs in her brain turning.
Not in relation to you anyway, so why are you here, Tony? Why are you abducting me?
because of the building.
He replies without hesitation. Sophie's building? Now Jerry's desperate apologies make sense.
And you didn't know Damien would be here?
No idea. I called Mateo to say that I wanted out because I'm getting in too deep with the jesters now. They're almost done anyway, but that boss lady is insane. I was waiting for the go-ahead to rendezvous with Damien here and deliver everything I've learned. But while waiting, Penelope had a task for me.
The pieces are starting to look like they fit, but it's a damn loose fit. I don't trust him. Sophie is nodding, her face displaying an unbroken trust.
That makes sense,
She declares after a moment's silence. How? The word comes out of my mouth like an exasperated sigh.
Penelope requires me to prove my devotion to her every fucking minute.
Tony says, hissing. The change in his tone so sudden my head dips back in surprise.
When I heard Sophie's name being thrown around like she's next on a death list, I had to take the job. Trust me, better me than any of the others who she sends on errands like these. Sophie crossed her path, so Penelope wants her removed. Not only that, but she considered everything Mateo once owned as hers forever. So how dare he withdraw his power of attorney and give it to someone else? Anyway, I've been trying to stay away and focus on the task, but it's not easy. I saved Kiara. I proposed the fucking olive branch thing. She would have been dead if it weren't for me.
This outburst stuns both me and Sophie. I had never thought that my father would find someone to go undercover in the Jesters, who would get under Penelope's skin so well to be able to convince her to do things uncharacteristic of her. And the divorce? I ask the first thing that comes to mind.
What divorce? Wait, she's divorcing you? Oh, fucking shit. She wants to marry me. Oh, no. I'm out.
He throws his hands in the air and paces the room, the gun loose in his hand.
You still swear a lot.
It's a swear-worthy situation.
He stops pacing and drops into a squat. His body language has shifted from when he first came into the room, and maybe now, finally, he's being himself.
This twist of fate means you really need to go and confront her.
He points at me. I cross my arms in front of my chest defensively. I'm staying here. I shake my head. You just said you were going to kidnap Sophie.
I wasn't actually going to kidnap her. I was going to take her with me while you sort your shit out, or whatever. My job here is done.
Tony's voice has the edge of annoyance.
We are going together to face Penelope.
Tony is having none of it, but she shakes her head.
We need to catch up. If we had a bit more time, I would tell you in detail why you and I can't just abandon Damien and his fight. It's my fight, too.
They stare at each other. It's so intense I don't know where to look. Finally, Tony nods.
How about this?
He says.
Penelope is in the office in the staff area. There's a corridor leading to it on the dungeon level. I can go first. Make sure she stays put. Did you come alone?
We have a few more people. How many are there of the Jesters?
Sophie's fast reply comes before I have a chance to protest. How is she so sure he's on our side?
4 more and me. But one of them is really big and strong.
So how are you going to deal with them? The suspicion in my voice is impossible to hide.
I won't,
he says simply.
You will. I can't break my cover. I see that you don't trust me. You have 2 choices. Face Penelope on your own, or have me help you. My job for Mateo Grey is done. But I won't let Sophie go into the lion's den with you. I don't know you.
I don't know you either, I snap. Sophie is massaging her forehead.
Well, I know you both, so how about I make a decision? Tony, go secure Penelope. We'll gather everyone and go to battle. Damien, use your pager, and let's get this over with.
The leader in me, the one forgotten in my captivity, lifts its head. Sophie's steel resolve reminds me of myself, from years ago, when I made tough decisions, fast and certain. I search my emotions for any desire to oppose her, to show her who's boss. I find none of that, only a silent agreement and a weight lifted off my shoulders. I don't want to lead, but maybe she does. Maybe we can find a compromise.
This was part 7 of The Brigand Children, book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. To listen to the next 5 chapters, please navigate to the next video. All parts of this audiobook are available in the playlist The Brigand Children on this YouTube channel. As a reminder, the scene from Sophie's perspective in the shower was abridged, so if you want to listen to the full version, follow the link in the description. Thanks for listening. Like and comment to help get this book in front of more readers and subscribe to the channel to avoid missing out. See you in the next part.